G'day Bodgies and Widgies and welcome back to the channel. This is the second video of the Sydney trip and today we're going through a shop tour called AllFish2U. Now this store probably has the widest selection of aquarium fish of any shop that I've visited in Victoria or Australia full stop. The absolute range of fish and how passionate the owner Chris is just something that is absolutely amazing and you'll experience that throughout this video. Now this video is also coming out probably on Christmas Day or very close to Christmas, so Merry Christmas to all of you Bodgies and Widgies, no matter where you are in the world. Thank you so much for all of the support that you've given me throughout this year. It's been such an amazing experience and I've had so many new opportunities and I wouldn't have got any of that without your support watching these videos. So thank you so much once again. Enough talking from me, let's jump back to Sydney to go ahead and see AllFish2U, where we have the owner Chris take us through the shop. Awesome, Chris. So if you just wanted to take us around and we can start off with the big display here.
Yeah, so when you walk into the front door of the shop, there's this display tank. It's a 5 by 2.5 by 2 and a bit. Mainly Central American cichlids, which I bred mainly of a lot of these at home. Right. Other than the Pellini, he's Madagascan. Right. So I bred everything in here, but the 4 bigger Bacordi. Everything else I bred myself at home, well, other than the Plecos as well.
Do they all go into this tank like at once or at the same size and then grow up together?
Most of them went in around the same time. The Salvini were an addition. Right. They all grew out separate. But the Argenza, the Milnura, the Wiggy, and the Bacordi, the smaller Bacordis, they all grew out at the same time. They were all like, I bred them within 6 months of each other. Right. And they all got put in here at once. The Argenta are a lot slower growing than the rest of the other dudes. Yeah. The Milnura are by far the fastest growing. Okay. But they all seem to get on well enough. Yeah, like there's the Salvini have fry at the moment. The Bacordi in the back have eggs, and the Wiggy have their tubes out.
Yeah, I was just about to ask, because these are all pretty mature fish, so there would be some breeding that happens.
Yeah, it breeds there's a new pair with new eggs once a week. Yeah, they're all breeding. I don't really take too many fry because I've got too many already of these species.
And this is like a real set and forget tank, right? You know, the fish just do...
Yeah, I just do like the big 80% water change once a week, and that's all I really do. And feed them pellets when I feel like it. Yeah, they're pretty very low maintenance sort of animals.
Yeah. So Central American cichlids like your sort of specialty or your interest?
Yeah, so Central Americans were what got me into the hobby properly. Before that I had just random fish at home. Right. And then I got a pair of Cubans about 5 years ago, and that snowballed into everything. They bred after about 3 or 4 weeks I had them. Yeah. And then that snowballed into it all. And then I bought a pair of white Storms, the white edge green terrors, and then that got rid of everything else and just became Central Americans.
Yeah, right. Well, I guess we can move on, and then do you want to let us know what this side of the shop is?
So this little section here of the 12 tanks, and there's a few sections in each one. Yeah. This is all Lake Tanganyika. There is some Victorians in the mix. Right. This is the other side of the hobby that I like a lot. I've always been into Tanganyikans on and off. As of late, I've been getting a lot into Neolamprologus and Cyprichromis species. Right. Yeah. Yeah, so a lot of this stuff we sponsor the New South Wales Cichlid Association, and a fair few of their members breed a lot of this stuff. Yeah. We're pretty low on Tanganyikans at the moment, but there's some awesome things like these big white Calvus, which are showing pretty black at the moment. Yeah, but they're actually white Calvus. Yeah. And there's a few rarer things like these, well, not rarer, but Trilitochromis ornatus. Yeah. Are a really cool fish.
Is there one favourite in here that you would just if you could take them home, you would?
It'd probably be the Paracyprichromis, the Nigripinus albino. I was going to keep the group, and then a friend of mine wanted the group, and then because I'm a shop, I have to say yes to these sort of things. That's one fish that I really wanted to keep. Another fish that I've always wanted to keep, but I never have, are definitely the Boucherai. They're a little tiny Tanganyika cichlid. Yeah. Most ballsy little animal there is. They're really cranky fish. Yeah. Currently have too much with them. Really cool. And what's cool about him is they only have generally 7 to 8 fish in a batch of eggs. Oh, okay. So really slow breeding with them.
Okay. Yeah. Right. And so you could keep them in a colony, right? So they're not
with them, just a pair. Oh, okay. Yeah. They're hyper aggressive. A lot of conspicuous aggression between each other. Right. Yeah, I've got them at home. Well, I do have a pair. I've got not the Chemicondis. I've got the Cotodos at home. Yep. But the Chemicondis are my favourite of the lot. Okay. Yeah. Right.
And then we move on to pretty much this is a small sort of...
Yeah, this is all nano fish and small delicate fish. Right. This is all getting ripped out in the next couple of weeks, and a new system's getting put in.
This is brand new, if you ask me, to be honest.
Yeah, so this was actually when I bought the shop. This was an existing rack. Right. That they had. So this is a 6-7 year old rack. Okay. Yeah, so I'm ripping this out and putting a new rack in there that I want. So I have 24 tanks.
Yep. Will it still be for smaller fish?
Yeah, this will be for nano fish.
Okay, cool.
And it'll be the exact same as this, the 2 meter long tanks.
Right.
With the 8 sections, so I'll get 24 tanks instead of 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and any highlights in here that you particularly find interesting?
Yeah, there's a few things. There's these little dudes here, these 2 different tetras. They're the Hypsibecron cynotenuata, and there's Hypsibecron woodii, the blueberry tetra and the lapis tetra. They don't look like much now, but I think I showed you previously on my phone.
Yeah, when
they're
they get bigger.
very impressive.
Absolutely.
And little things like when I was at the start of the hobby, I was really into endlers and guppies and stuff.
Yep.
These little orchid endlers were a fish that I thought I'd never be able to find.
They're so
and
tiny.
I've got them.
Yeah.
And I've actually got them. I'll turn the light on.
Oh, so in like a display setting?
Yeah, I've got them in my little bench display tank.
Is that as big as they get, or are
That's
they just...
as big. The females get a bit bigger, but
Right.
that's it for the males.
That is a true nano fish right there.
Tiny little live berry,
Yeah.
They're very similar to a wild variant of endler that I really like. It's called the El Tigre.
Yeah.
They're a Compoba 31, or they've got a weird number. They're a wild appearing one. It's like that, but whatever I didn't like about the El Tigre, they fixed it and made it better. So I like them a lot.
Yeah.
And other things like Japanese rice fish, there's a kind of scattered through the mix.
Yeah,
I really like them.
Yep.
Yeah, and generally this is like where all like the killifish and mouth-rooting bedders, and that's another side of the hobby I really like as well.
Right.
Yeah, that's that section. Over here is our Central and South American section.
All the big guys. This is my kind of interest.
These are definitely one of my favorite things in the shop at the moment.
Yep.
These are an excess colony, so there's a pair in here that actually have fry, which I'll show you later.
Yep.
And there's 2 extra girls. I've bred heaps and heaps of this fish in Australia. They were very, very rare, or still are very, very rare.
Yep.
And I've bred literally hundreds of these things and put them out in the hobby.
These are the first time I'm seeing them in person, so it's...
I'm pretty well known, I'd like to say I'm pretty well known in the hobby for this species. This and Argento would be the 2 species I've bred and kind of put out in the hobby.
Right.
Yeah, definitely one of my favorite fish. Very endangered.
Do get bigger than that?
Way bigger. Yeah,
Yeah.
50 centimeter, like
Wow.
not as chunky as a doveye, but a very streamlined doveye sort of thing.
Right.
And there's a few other monsters like Azul peacock bass and Kelberry peacock bass.
Still those.
And there's also little things that I really like these multispinosa, the rainbow cichlids.
Yep.
And a fish that you're not really allowed to have down there is the Cubans.
Yeah.
Yeah, so about 4 years ago, me and Dad, actually the other owner of the shop, we bought a pair of Cubans for $1,000.
Wow.
A very, very good pair that's kind of distributed. Pretty much most Cubans you'll see in the shop originated from this pair.
Okay.
We've bred like thousands and thousands of those fish.
Right.
Yeah, which I used to, before when I was a plumber and I used to breed fish in my garage, I used to sell to wholesalers around Australia, and that was one of my best sort of fish that kind of got me into what I'm doing now.
So really, it's like a lot of the fish that you currently have here are fish that you've personally wanted and then you've bred and you're just selling them on.
Yeah, so this is another fish here. It kills me that I sell them for $10 each.
Oh my goodness.
I bought 4 of them for I bought 4 for $1,000. They were about 2.5 centimeters when I bought them.
Yeah.
I ended up with 3 boys and a girl.
Yep.
The one girl she was a bit frisky and she bred with all 3 boys within a matter of 4 weeks. That was when that fish was very, very expensive and I was getting $100 a baby for him. And I got stacks and stacks of these. And then a few other people started breeding them, and then my fish room was overrun and dropped them down $10 each and sold lots of them. And now that just seems to be, they bottomed out at $10 each.
Are Trimax an aggressive sort of fish?
I think they're aggressive to similar sort of fish.
Okay.
When you're keeping them with things like Robinsoni, Longimanus, blue eyes, Sahikas, like the smaller sort of stuff, I find them fine. Anything like Viejas, Snorks, they just hammer it. They've got to be the biggest thing in the tank, otherwise they just bash everything.
Yeah, because I'm sort of looking for larger Central and South American cichlids for my tank, and I've mainly just got a lot of bottom dwellers and my Australian lungfish. So would Trimax sort of work in that situation where they're sort of one of the only fish in the mid water column, or do they really need a lot of empty sort of...
You need it really busy or by themselves.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're more better suited to something like this, which we were just looking in the display tank, the Bacardi cichlid.
Yep.
Super, super awesome fish. One of my favorites. They kind of become common, become rare, become common, become rare. They're one of those fish that kind of drop in and out of the hobby.
Right.
I think that's a really cool fish. There's that fish there, and then there's another fish up here called the Spectabilis, or the basket mouth cichlid.
Yep.
They're from South America, but a fish I really like a lot.
I feel like they've only sort of recently popped up in the hobby as well.
Yeah, so they're another fish that I spent stupid money on. Like a stupid money on.
Yep.
I never managed to breed them. I got a big pair of them.
Yep.
And they got to about 4 years of age, and then he murdered his girlfriend. And then I just gave the male away.
The name basket mouth, would they be a mouth brooder? Or?
No, they're a substrate spawner like most other South American cichlids. I'm assuming it's just because how much they can put in there. They're similar like a snook or a barramundi, where that mouth kind of not dislocates but extends out really far. Really cool fish though. Yeah, these are a fish I don't really like, flower horns. It's the reason why we nearly lost Trimax in Australia. They were crossing a bunch of these other Viejahs and Trimax and whatnot together to create these flower horns. We were down to 2 pairs in Australia of those Trimax, that's why they were $250 a fish. But now there's lots and lots of Trimax out there. There's a few hobbyists that we can thank for that though, that there is a lot of them.
Yeah. Oh, these guys are going crazy. What are these ones?
These are PCI, so these are cousins to the Bacardi. Big green thing with a big black circle in their stomach.
A fish I've wanted for a very long time, and they're finally here. So.
Yeah, they were super rare. Like they were impossible to get. We thought we were losing the fish in Australia. Breeder in Queensland managed to get a spawn out of these giant pair that he had. I think he got 2 spawns out of them, and then I think he's lost the male, I think. So kind of we're relying on this spawn to someone to breed them out of this spawn.
Continue.
Yeah, but they're common now, but they won't be common in 12 months. As most American cichlids are. This little section here is the goldfish section. I've kind of got 3 tanks of comets and then 3 tanks of fancies. I really like goldfish. My first ever job was at a koi farm. And at that koi farm, which they used to breed fancy goldfish. And I really have a soft spot for fancy goldfish.
Do you have a particular favourite?
I like a really good fat ranchu. Yeah. Fat ranchu is definitely my favourite. But I also do like this sort of thing, the short tail Oranda. I'm not really a fan of those big flowy fin sort of goldfish. Ranchu, the short fatter the better.
Just a quick question. In this tank, there's quite a mix of fish. So what is that species over there?
That long-faced one, the blue one, that's my breeding group of Robinsoni.
Oh, okay.
I ran out of tanks at home, so now I store fish at the shop. There's also a group of Longimanus, the other cribbit heroes we have available in Australia. They're a soft little fat squishy one. I like them a lot, but they don't get too big. They're not very bright and colourful, so it is a fish I'm scared we're losing in the hobby. There's a group of 8 in that tank, and I've got a group of 26 at a friend's house.
Oh my god.
With American cichlids, I find you've got to have lots of them. Wait for a pair to spawn, take that pair, and leave the group as backups, because with Americans, you definitely need backups. So most species I do buy, I tend to buy in large numbers, unless they're $250 a fish. Then I only buy a couple.
So it's pretty much just the way a hobbyist operates, but you've just got something larger going on with a retail front as well. We've had a look here, so we want to go into the other side and see what's there as well.
So this is a 5x2 by 2.5 display tank in the shop. Both this tank and the front tank were side by side in my dad's garage, in my dad's lounge room. So he's quite happy that they're gone. So this is mainly just a Southeast Asian sort of display tank. There is a long nose, double trunk elephant nose in here. He's from Africa, but everything else is from Southeast Asia. I really like clown loaches, and I like weird clown loaches, like this guy here with the spot.
The spots and the saddles.
So clown loaches in most people's tanks are quite like a shy fish. In this tank, they're all they're pretty tame.
Does that have to do with numbers, or because they've been in this system for some time, or because there's a lot of dither fish kind of thing?
I think it's a combination of all of it. I think I do have 32 clown loaches in here, even though you can't see all of them right now. But I think also just the larger dither fish and just the quantity of clown loaches really helps them become outgoing. There's the elephant nose.
Oh yeah, there he is. And there's also 2 big eels in this tank. What are those?
They're called they're Macrogenthius tapira. So they're in the same genus as a normal spiny eel. But just get quite a bit bigger and are quite a bit cooler. So it's just because we can't get tide tracks in here is the next alternative. And this tank isn't big enough for fire eels. So that's the main reason of it all.
And then is this like any sort of particular theme for this wall, or is it just
this whole wall here is all tropical. These 6 tanks here for different sand were supposed to be just for cories. But since we're renovating the shop, there's a hell of a lot more fish in here. So mainly it was for exotic cory, like wild cories and wild tetras and blue eyes and threadfin rainbow fish and that sort of stuff. Now it just becomes a bit of everything. These are the fry, those black nasties that I was showing you in the other room.
I know we won't be able to look at all of them, but how many cories do you currently have in the shop?
At the shop we have 41 species of cories, both farm bred and wild caught. The last kind of 3 months I've been going crazy with cories. That's what that whole new setup in the other room's for. There's going to be, because it's called Cory Corner, there's going to be 24 tanks of cories. They've been selling well. People seem to like them and getting people from everywhere. getting them, and they've been selling really well online. And what I like about them, they sell well online, but plus they ship very well. Yeah. So things like the reticulated hill stream loaches, they don't like to be shipped, nor do like the Phylowellas in this tank. So I don't really like shipping that sort of stuff, but the Cory ship really well.
Yeah, right. And I also noticed that you've got some swordtails in here. Are they your typical sort of captive swordtails?
So they're captively bred, but they're a wild variant called Guntherei swordtails. I'm pretty sure they're still Zyphorus helleri. I don't think that they've got another name like the Montezuma do. But they're a very cool fish. I find that they get a lot larger than a typical swordtail.
They're huge, yeah.
These aren't the biggest. I've got bigger ones at home than these.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the male's like kind of 14 centimeters, 15 centimeters all up in length.
And that sort of like pied patterning they have, that's just a naturally occurring?
Yeah, so it does vary from fish to fish. They do throw out ones that don't have spots on them at all. But that fish will still breed spotted fish. So I don't know if it's a genetic anomaly or whatever it is, but it's pretty cool though. Yeah.
And just, I guess, whilst we walk through here and look at some of the different fish that are available, my biggest question for you is just like, why do you have so many different kinds of fish? Because I'd assume that, you know, there are certain fish that are rarer, that only certain types of customers would buy, but you're still holding them, feeding them, and that sort of thing. So.
I think it comes from my hobbyist side of the thing. I like fish a lot, so I don't mind looking at them. Some things don't sell, and they're here for 6 months, and they get really big and pretty, and then I just keep them. But yeah, I don't really mind. It's probably not the smartest business choice, but I do like them a lot, so I don't really mind doing that sort of stuff. But our name is AllFish2U. I'd like to have all the fish. So it's good that our shop is only freshwater, so we don't kind of half-ass do things. We just kind of full-ass one thing, which helps a lot.
Absolutely awesome.
Yeah,
well, I guess we just sort of keep going around, and then if there's anything that you particularly think is...
So this is one fish, or this one genus I'm happy about. There's a body of dwarf cichlids called Laticara. In Australia, we have 4 different species available to us: Laticara, Dorsigeria, Flemonellus, Araguaia, and Curvicet. I have all 4 in the shop. I'm kind of a bit of a stamp collector myself, so I won't necessarily keep these fish at home. It's cool to say that I've had all 4 in the shop, though. And we also, I'm really interested in rainbow fish. We sponsor Angfa. We sponsor their, in the New South Wales branch, we have like a rare species, like sort of, not a competition, but whoever wins it gets a $150 gift card. But we do mainly we do heaps of rainbow fish. But yeah, dwarf cichlids, rainbow fish, and cichlids in general are what we kind of specify in.
Awesome. Just a quick question. These striped barbs are actually something that I was considering. How big do they get?
To my knowledge, about 8 centimeters long.
Cool.
They're not fin nippy at all. They're very peaceful. And I don't think they eat plants at all. I had one jump out and I got it and chucked in the planter tank. He didn't eat any of the plants. I never found any more nibbling.
And well, actually, whilst we're here, this planter tank, there's an absolute ton of plants, but there's also a bunch of different fish in here as well. Yeah,
so when I get in all these fish, and some things like this Corydoras fowleri, it's like a $190 fish. When I get them and I get, say, 20 in, and I sell 15 of them, and no one's really getting the last 5, I then choose to keep them and keep them in here. And if customers do ask me for them, I get their number down, and when there's way less plants in here, I then catch out some of the species.
Because I've noticed some crazy species in there. There's like some red lasers, the phalaris.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's quite a few L numbers in here as well, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's like a lot of there's a couple 134s, 471s.
Oh, beautiful.
There was a 264 in here at one point, a Sultan, but a customer wanted him, so I got him out. There's a few different kind of odds and ends and rainbow fish and fish with missing eyes and missing fins and bent backs, and I don't have it in me. There's actually a short-bodied bristlenose, but you might be able to see him, but I don't know if you can. But it's just a hodgepodge of everything and anything. There is a few worker fish in here, like there's like my lytail mollies, get rid of all my blackbeard algae. Customers don't like snails. There's about 25 clown loaches in here as well, and a few Pakistani loaches. Just to keep it snail free.
Cool. And then on this side, some freshwater stingrays, right?
Yeah, these are our pets. So this one here is a 75-25 black diamond mantilla. There's a pure Montoro, and then there's a 50-50 black diamond mantilla. And exactly a week ago today, our Montoro gave birth to 4 little pups. Oh, there's also a group of Psittacus true parrot cichlids, which are absolutely massive at the moment.
Huge.
They're another fish that I got in to sell, but then I kind of fell in love with them, so I didn't want to sell them. But the stingrays aren't available, the cichlids are. But we kind of go through a lot of stingrays at the shop. At one point, we were doing 1 a week we were selling.
Wow.
But now we've just kind of taken the back like kind of just started breeding our own instead.
And at what sort of age do you sell, you know, those pups sort of?
Generally kind of 5 to 6 weeks. Okay. We kind of wait for it at minimum.
Yep.
But generally a bit longer, generally two months at least sort of thing. Yeah. We'd like to wait as long as we can.
On this side?
Also community fish.
Yep.
Generally I tried, there's also a lot of Corys through the shop. There's 41 species, so they're scattered through the whole shop. And there's other random things like these guys down here, which you guys can't actually have. The tiger bashirs, or birches, or however you want to say. I say bashir. Yeah, there's things like that and a few other weird kind of critters scattered through it. But majority of all this side is all community. These little 4 tanks are just weird and wonderful fish.
There's some really awesome species here. Did you want to just take us through what's in these 4 tanks?
So these are pinstripe dambers. These are a very critically endangered species from Madagascar. They look like little bream at the moment, but they do become very pretty. These are jungle perch, a fish that we didn't really see for a very long time in the hobby, but now they're starting to come up. We've had a few come through the shop, but not a crazy amount. They're super predatory as well, so you drop wavers in and they go nuts for them. There's these guys here, the red lizard loaches. They're a cool little fish from, I'm assuming, Indonesia or somewhere around that neck of the woods. This tank here has a West African cichlid called a Purphlochromos tenuatus, very similar to our Crebensis, and the star of the show, the fire eels.
They're absolutely adorable little guys. And then I guess we move into more of like an African cichlid.
Yeah, so the top 2 rows are pretty much all Lake Malawi and some Lake Victorian cichlids, or Rift Lake cichlids if you want to call them that. Yeah, it's just kind of a mixture of peacocks and stuff. I did breed some of this stuff for a bit there. I find them quite boring compared to American cichlids. They're prettier, definitely. They're a lot more colourful and you have more in a tank. And what they don't make up in personality, they're definitely like they're ravenous creatures.
Exactly.
Yeah. So they've been fed like 4 or 5 times today.
Yeah,
and they're
still hungry.
Yeah, still hungry.
Yeah.
Always hungry they are. And then the bottom row, I typically just leave for live bearers.
Okay.
Being that the shop we heat with an air conditioner.
Yep.
So the tanks are warmer up top and cooler down the bottom.
Yep.
The live bearers don't mind it a little bit cooler. I think like paradise fish and denios and rosy barbs.
Yep.
And then you can kind of see this tank a bit better now.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's the lower side. There's a bunch of kind of odds and ends of rainbow fish and a lot of Corys and there's some really huge rams in here, but they're not showing.
Oh, well, there's one right here. There's an absolute monster.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy how like, you know, once you see them like really grow out in a tank of this size, you understand how big some of these fish can get.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah.
There's also a random bandit cichlid. I'm not sure how it got in there. It just kind of appeared one day. I find bandits all over the shop. I don't understand how they move from tank to tank. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely awesome. Yeah, and was there any other sort of like highlight fish that you wanted to...
These guys in here, I'd have to say. So this is our little discus section over here.
Yep.
But it's also where I hide a lot of the L numbers. And there's some, you can kind of see them through here. There's some really big L134 leopard frogs.
Yep.
I had a group of 15 come in, and they've slowly been selling and going. And I also have some LO97s, polka dot cactus plecos.
Oh, stunning.
You can kind of see one in the corner there.
Yeah, they look sort of like a really nice L201, but then will get much bigger.
They're like a fancy vampire.
Okay.
Is what I see it as.
Yeah, right.
They still get the cactus side, like 25 centimeters sort of thing. But they definitely look cooler as juveniles and mature. Their dots, they're definitely thin out.
Sort of like a peppermint.
Yeah, same sort of thing. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, awesome. Well, I've had my eye on some of those really nice, bright white bristlenose.
Yeah.
So is that sort of like a breeding thing that's going on with super whites or?
Yeah. So the guy that I get them off, he wants the snow white lemon blue eyes.
Yep.
But he can't get lemon blue eyes.
Okay.
So he's trying to breed the whitest albino he can get.
Yeah.
He's gotten them pretty white, but they've got dots. So he's trying to put that over super reds now.
Right.
Which he has. He's got super red albino longfins.
Yep.
Just trying to get them as pale as possible.
Yeah. Absolutely awesome. Well, Chris, thank you so much for taking us around the shop and just giving us an idea of the layout of this place. And whereabouts are we located in Sydney?
We're in Western Sydney near Penrith. We're probably about an hour from the CBD, just west near the Blue Mountains.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. And all of the details will be located in the description down below. Also, AllFish2U do sell fish online, and if you want to see a video of how these fish actually get packaged and sent to your house, Blake's Aquatics actually has made a video of that. But Chris, thank you so much once again for touring us around. All Alrighty, Bodgies and Widgies, thank you so much for watching this store tour of AllFish2U. This is probably one of the most favourite videos that I've filmed purely because of how many crazy fish there were at AllFish2U. I was constantly getting distracted by noticing something small and really cool that I've never seen before in one of the tanks whilst I was filming, and it really felt like just a shopping experience, like I'd just gone into the shop and Chris was answering all of my questions, and I really enjoyed the experience overall. I don't really film store tours all that much purely because from the ones that I've seen here and there, it often feels like this big sales pitch for products or fish that the shop sells, and ultimately that's sort of what a shop tour is. However, I kind of just want to show off the fish they have, and I didn't even tell Chris, you know, this is what you should or shouldn't do. This man was a complete natural on camera. I just said, Chris, take us away, and he was so passionate as an aquarium hobbyist, and he often underplayed his achievements, which I found really surprising. This man has collected and bred some incredibly rare fish in Australia, and he just plays it off like it's a common Tuesday, but he is just such a passionate aquarist, and that's something that I absolutely love to see. Seeing how much he's involved with the industry as well really was quite heartwarming, how he sponsors aquarium clubs, and these aren't something that aren't like all that big in Australia. Aquarium clubs or societies or, you know, aquarium events aren't all that big. They are growing. However, seeing people like this that are constantly putting that push in to make sure that the aquarium industry grows in Australia was just totally awesome. But Bodgies and Widgies, thank you so much for watching this video, no matter what time you're watching it, Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, whenever it comes out. The fact that you're putting in the time to watch my videos is incredibly heartwarming, and I really do appreciate your support. If you have any questions for me or Chris or about the shop, let me know in the comment section down below. If you did end up enjoying this video, it really does help if you wanted to give this video a like, and you can also consider subscribing. It's free and you can opt out anytime, but I'd recommend just to watch a couple of my other videos if you like what I'm doing, then you can hit that subscribe button as well. But that is essentially it, so as always, stay happy, stay safe, stay Aussie Australian, Bodgie out.